Let me ask you about book signings. They seem to have fallen out of favor. I mean, I did one. I did about four or five back in 2003, but I've heard nothing but mostly horror stories from other authors over the years.
Um, Again, we're back to that whole thing of unless your name is in a certain list of names,
Mm-hmm.
odds are if you hold a book signing, there's only going to be a few people that show up.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it depends on do you enjoy them or not. So if you're at a convention and there's a group of people there that are all of a like mind, you got a booth, you've got a table, or even you just got a signing table, I'm always going to take an opportunity to go do a signing table. Because even if just somebody, two or three stop by and have a chat and I don't move a book, I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, inevitably, I'm going to move, inevitably, some of those people are going to buy books. Going to a bookstore and holding a signing, I don't necessarily go with the expectation of even selling a single copy.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, some friends will show up. You'll have some people stop by and ask a question. But again, that's one of those things of does it do a lot of good? Not really anymore. But at the same time, you may discover that one person. Now, generally anymore, if I'm doing a signing, it's at a convention and there's a group of people there. Anytime I'm going to be doing an appearance somewhere, I've always got multiple intentions on being there. It's never just about going to show up and sign books.
Mm-hmm.
So if I've gone to a convention, number one, I enjoy conventions. I love being around the people. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You get to socialize, you get to hang out. I have a lot of fun doing panels. I love to go do panels. I love to talk. I love the interaction. So I enjoy those things. Sitting in the booth for me is a hit or miss. If there's a lot of people and it's busy, being in the booth and talking to people is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing more painful for me than just sit there and be going and doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that happens, trust me, I will find ways to entertain myself. And that maybe I pull out the laptop and I start working. It may be that I start responding to emails on my phone. A lot of the time when I do conventions, I'm sharing the booth with somebody. A lot of the time it's been Stuart Jaffe, Darren Kennedy, Patrick Dugan, John Hartness, Gail Martin. There's a bunch of us that tend to travel together, and we tend to share booths and help cross promote them.
Mm-hmm.
So that part of it is there's always somebody there. So if somebody's off doing a panel, pretty much we're covered. Somebody's going to be in the booth. We all know each other's stuff, and never be afraid to go and say, my book may or may not be for you. Sorry about that.
It's quite all right.
Um, you know, I just turned it off. So if I'm standing in the booth and there's multiple of us standing around covering the booth,
Mm-hmm.
we all know each other's work. It's nothing for me to go and say, "Oh, you like that. You probably should check out Stuart. Oh, you like that. You probably should check out John. Okay, you like that. Here's mine."
Mm-hmm.
And I tell the story. And because I've got different books across different spaces, different genres, I've got different stuff to hand them.
Mm-hmm.
So the more books you write, the more of that work that you do, the more options you have, the more you can hand to somebody. But at the same time, it's not about me trying to force my book on somebody. My goal is to find somebody that's going to enjoy it, get something from it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you're teamed up with people that are all doing that kind of cross promotion, it's very fun, it's very effective, and it's one of those things that you find out the stuff that maybe you need to be working on and writing.
Mm-hmm.
But just to go do a signing sitting in the mall, but and this is even before all the stuff that's been going on, so that none of us are going out in public. Hopefully getting signings and doing things like that will start happening again. One of the things that John and I were talking on the way back from some convention somewhere was about doing a different kind of signing. So what we came up with was books and beer. We were doing them sometimes at conventions or leading up to a convention
Mm-hmm.
where we would actually hold a signing at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started doing it where we would have the signing at the bar and we would have readings to go with it. And we'd film that so that it was, even if you only had a couple of people show up, you still had something we had recorded. It would get posted on Facebook. It got posted into other places so that you had a reading, you had an event go on, you had a signing, but you had something to take away from that. So that it was more than just coming in to show up and sit there and look pretty. It was something active. And I think that's one of those things is a lot of authors are afraid to be visible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of authors, in fact, most authors are pretty well introverted. I am an introverted extrovert. I'm an extroverted introvert.
Mm-hmm.
I flip that switch back and forth. But when I'm in front of people and around people, that's something I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I'm done, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
So if you as an author can get past that and create something that's engaging, then going to a signing, going to an event, things like that become much more meaningful and you get a larger audience.
Mm-hmm.
People learn more about you. If all you're doing is sitting behind the table hoping somebody's going to come by and want your autograph, you're not going to see much of that. Mm-hmm. So again, it's about how do you create engagement.
Mm-hmm.
And so in person, doing a reading, doing things like that so people get a little bit of a taste of it. Mm-hmm. is one of the more effective ways of creating that engagement and giving people a reason to come by and see why you're sitting at a table.
Okay. Back when I did I don't know, 3 or 4 book signings at local bookstores. It was 2003. I was very green. I'd never tried to promote books before, or my books, but I stumbled across something that worked pretty well for me. I had studied handwriting analysis just as a hobby. And so I put up a little bitty sign on the table that said, if you buy my book, I'll give you a free handwriting analysis. And so I actually sold some books. Otherwise, I mean, it would have been 0 sales, absolutely. I sold maybe 5 or 10 at each store. So it worked out, but still it seemed kind of dead end overall.